welcome to the Cast Off. This is the #1 recasting show on the internet where 2 contestants compete by recasting your favorite actors in movies you love. Tonight, we're going to get geeky, we're going to get metal, which means we've got the metal geeks here to talk about and recast Spinal Tap. How are you guys doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Hey. All right. We've got
Cary. I know the other guy.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
I'm Craig Price. We've got Cary Gordon and George Tripsas from Metal Geeks. What's been going on with Metal Geeks?
We've been doing a lot of cool stuff. We've been talking about our favorite video games recently, and we just had a lengthy discussion about all the new Disney price gouging they're doing.
Oh, yeah, the Magic Pass.
The Genie
A lot of
Plus
talk about
and,
OnlyFans, too. A lot of talk
unfortunately,
about
a lot of OnlyFans talk. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm sure the 3 OnlyFans you both have are very disappointed that you're taking all of your nudes off.
They're taking away our only revenue here.
We were thinking about Patreon, but maybe OnlyFans was going to be the way to go, but we're not so sure anymore.
So, and George, how are things going with you?
Oh, they're going fantastic. Keeping busy and trying to stay healthy.
Well, and that's true. You guys are in Texas. Everything going well down there? Is it getting scary? Is it getting better?
It's going to get worse before it gets better, probably.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. Just do the right thing, you know.
Yes.
Be safe and be smart.
Get vaccinated, wear a mask when you're out there, wash your hands, be considerate to other people, and if you see someone wearing a mask and you don't believe in masks, shut up. Just move on. You don't have to say anything. There's no reason to interact with them. Just mind your own business.
That's right.
Well, let's get on to the show and the game itself. We are going to start with the same rules we've had since the very beginning. I'm going to name an actor and their character, and then you're going to give me a replacement. The person with the best choice gets 1 point, and that is a decision by 3 judges. So you always have to get at least 2 people to agree. So you can't just yell at me if something happens that you don't like. Someone else also said, I like that one. Though I do have a secret selection, so if you pick mine, you get a extra point, a bonus point. Now, the best choice and my secret selection are not always the same thing, especially since we have these additional judges. They've really been going against my back and betraying me because my choice is almost always the best choice. But if you get behind, it's a great way to get 2 points in one pick. Obviously, the person with the most points wins because we are America and we don't believe in ties. If there is a tie, we're not walking away with 2 winners. We are going to do a double feature to win, which I will describe when and if that is necessary. As always, the show is brought to you by Matinee Heroes, and this Saturday, past guests and past players Tracy Mangum and Mark Woodring join me to talk imperialism and adventure for the movie The Man Who Would Be King. So you can head over to matineeheroes.com and subscribe to follow the podcast. And you can also hear tonight's post-show exclusively on the audio version of the Cast-Off every Thursday in the Matinee Heroes feed. And if you're enjoying Cast-Off, while you're at the site, you can head over to subscribe to the video feed at matineeheroes.com/castoff. All right, so now let's start the game, recasting the movie that started all of this mockumentary movie stuff for the last 4 decades. This is Spinal Tap. Now, I wanted something that was super metal because I knew it was Metal Geeks, and I'm like, what's the one metal movie that really, really is perfect for you two?
Oh, man.
And I said, gotta be, this is Spinal Tap. Have you both seen this movie before?
Oh, yeah, I love this movie. It's one of my definite favorites. It's hysterical.
So, confession time, I've never seen this movie.
And you still didn't, right?
I still did not watch this movie. I watched the
George.
trailer. I watched the trailer and a couple of clips, but I've never seen the movie all the way through. I've seen it in parts, but never like in full beginning to end.
Okay, that's fine.
Shameful.
I think it's possible to do that with this movie because it's some very broad characters, but it's also super awesome and has been quoted to death. So even if you haven't seen it, you know this movie because people have been talking about it for years. So
absolutely.
So let's start with the great Michael McKean. Most of us know him as Lenny from Laverne and Shirley, or
that's right.
He's Better Call Saul's brother, the one who has to wrap himself in tinfoil all the time.
The crazy one.
Okay. On that show, they're all okay. One has legitimate mental health issues, and the other one's just slimy. So he is the co-leader of the band, David St. Hubbins, and we did the coin toss. And George, you go first. So who do you have playing the lead I guess he's the lead singer. He's the leader of the band, and probably, and this is not a very high bar, the smartest of the group.
So for my pick, I picked a character who's not British, but is Irish. But I thought he's played in enough British films. He's been in British TV. He's also in one of my favorite TV shows, The IT Crowd. I picked Chris O'Dowd.
And before we start, and I can see Cary's head shaking already, just to make sure we clarify, Irish is British. It's not English.
Well, I mean, he's not,
He's a member of the British Empire. So he is British. He's not English. But he's awesome.
English is what I meant.
Yes.
There you go.
But he is awesome. He's great at the lovable loser type. I love the IT Crowd. It's one of my favorites. And I think we're going to see a lot of people from the IT Crowd during today's match. He was also the nice cop in Bridesmaid.
Yes.
He was also Jane Foster's date in Thor, The Dark World. And then for some reason, he's in the Cloverfield Paradox, which I don't remember him in, but that movie wasn't memorable. So
I don't think anybody remembers that movie.
I've never watched it.
Yeah.
If you've never seen the TV series of Get Shorty, he is phenomenal on that show.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, watching that show was Cary's recommendation to Get Shorty, and because of that show, cemented the idea that this Chris O'Dowd would be a good replacement for this character.
So you're basically saying I helped you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
In a circle way, in an uncircled way.
So I guess I have to ask, if you win this one, do you give the point to Cary?
No, I will not.
Okay, that's just double checking. All right, Cary. Well, you
rude.
almost had a chance to win this category no matter what, because
Right.
So who do you have playing St. Hubbins?
I went with the same for all of my picks. Most of this movie was about 90% improv. So I went with a bunch of people that would do really well at improv, that do sketch comedy, all that kind of stuff. For David St. Hubbins, I went with Paul Scheer.
Absolutely. Paul Scheer, known for podcasting, because
Yeah.
the one podcast, well, there's several, but this is the one podcast that I constantly can't wait to download. How Did This Get Made?
That's right.
Because he and Jason Mantzoukas are fantastic. June is very good as well, but Paul and mostly Jason are the key to that. But he was in The Disaster Artist because of How Did This Get Made, just to show that if you're a podcaster, you might be able to get into movies. And then after that, he's kind of, Piranha 3D, Big Mouth, Veep. He was in that NCIS, SVD, PRL, or whatever. It was all letters.
And he's written for Marvel Comics recently, too.
Oh, yeah, he's a writer, too, so he really makes
Yeah.
most of his money writing. So we have Chris O'Dowd, Paul Scheer. I went with Harry Styles because I wanted to start off with seeing him on Saturday Night Live made me think that he could front this band.
It's because of the long hair you wanted that Harry Styles, right?
Yeah. I just wanted somebody that was that would be able to front the band. And like I said, he can act as he was in Dunkirk, but I've seen him on Saturday Night Live. He can be funny.
I forgot he was Dunkirk. That's right.
Yeah. Well, the judges decided, and they went with Cary's pick of Chris O'Dowd.
I lost.
That George went. Yeah, that's right. So,
Oh, no.
so Cary
Score
really,
one for me.
That's right. So George gets Cary's point of 1.
That's right.
So now we get to Christopher Guest's Nigel Tufnell and Cary. Who do you have playing Nigel, who's dumb as a rock? This guy is dumb as a rock.
Yes, I went with another guy that does a lot of improv, a lot of sketch comedy. Very, very, very funny comedian. Does a lot of voiceover recently. You sort of mentioned Big Mouth earlier, but Nick Kroll, I could see him perfectly in this role.
Absolutely.
Put a long wig on him.
Oh, well, sure, because he does all the weird voices anyways, as we know
Sure.
from the Big Mouth. But he was also in Oh, Hello,
Yeah.
which is on Netflix, which you have not seen that with John Mulvaney. He's hilarious in that. Dinner for Schmucks again. So you guys both have 2 Dinner with Schmucks people in there. And he was with Paul Scheer in The League.
Yeah, sure.
So it's
Which
all-
I've never seen that show yet.
Oh, I haven't either. But it's all interconnected. And, of course, he's the guy that steals the hat in What We Do in the Shadows, the cursed hat.
That's right.
So now we go to George. George, who do you have?
I went with somebody who I think would be a good bouncing off of Chris O'Dowd, and that would also kind of steal the show, just because from what I could tell in the trailer, since I haven't seen the movie, but this guy looks like he steals a show in the movie, and he's kind of like the standout guy, and he's usually the funniest because he had all the funny lines in the trailer. So I wanted someone who looked visually different, but also who could have a different kind of comedy than Chris O'Dowd. So I went with Taika Waititi.
Another What We Do in the Shadows. He's what we call down under absurdity since he's from New Zealand, but he was fantastic as Hitler in Jojo Rabbit, which, Cary, you were on that Matinee Heroes podcast.
I was.
That was great. You did a fantastic
I'm
job
a
on that.
Taika Waititi fanboy, so
Everybody
I probably gave you this answer too.
Everybody should be.
I'm a really big Taika Waititi fan. I have been since his first big film, Boy. So
well, and we just recently saw him in 2 movies this month. The Suicide Squad, when he was the original Ratcatcher, and I don't think it was his fault, but he wasn't as good in The Free Guy. I thought his character
agree.
was
He was underutilized.
and his character was an ass hole. All right, if you say them separately, you don't get in trouble. So I
Good
learned
job.
that. Yeah, I've learned that. But he's awesome. I can't wait to see his. He's got a Star Wars movie he's writing right now, and he is going to be doing the new Thor: Love and Thunder, which sounds crazier and crazier.
And he has a new TV series that just came out too.
Oh, the
Reservation Dogs.
Yeah.
which is really good if y'all guys haven't seen it.
Have not yet, but there's a long laundry list of things that have come out in the last month. So, remember when things came out in September and October, and then there was a long gap?
Yeah.
Now it's things are coming out all the time.
Streaming for you, I guess.
So we got Nick Kroll, Taika Waititi. I went with David Tennant because
that would have been cool.
I just love David Tennant. I know he can act and be funny, and I think him playing a dumb rocker, kind of like his Fright Night character a little bit when he plays the vampire.
Yeah.
So, well, the judges conferred one more time and decided George gets another point. So George takes a quick 2-0 lead.
All right.
Wow.
So actually, if Cary had not given you anything, it might have been a tie, Cary. But no,
True.
You technically have possibly 3 points, Cary, coming up soon.
We'll see what happens.
He was generous with educating me, is what it was.
Well, now is what I call the least talented of the band, but probably the most talented actor because he does all kinds of voices. He's like the Wolverine of Spinal Tap because he's a short little hairy guy. Derek Smalls, played by Harry Shearer. So, what do we got? George, who do you have playing the bassist?
So I wanted to go with someone who was British, but also could fit amongst the motley crew that I was building, but also has a good rapport with the actors already. And then I also wanted someone who could look really good in mutton chops. And then also he's in the show called Toast of London, which is hilarious. And I think he can really hold his own in any show. I picked Matt Berry, and he's also a good musician too, believe it or not.
Yes. What are you talking about, Clem Fandango? Yes, the Toast of London is one of my favorite shows. He's fantastic in that. But he's a flamboyant baritone with a beautiful, deep, rich voice that doesn't seem right in these. If you listen to the show and not watch it, it doesn't make any sense because all of a sudden he's got that "Oh my Lord" voice. But he's great in What We Do in the Shadows. So, Cary, who do you have that could possibly beat Matt Berry in his beautiful voice?
I love the way you said it like that. I went with somebody else he's known for his really deep voice. I almost said sexy voice, but yeah, it's sexy.
It's pretty sexy.
He's a fellow podcaster. He is a Batman. I went with somebody I could see him definitely in those mutton chops. I went with Will Arnett.
Will Arnett. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
The Lego Movie Batman.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been watching Lego Masters on Hulu. He's very good in that because I like how he kind of doesn't take it seriously and kind of goes, "This is what this is what normal reality television shows do, so we're going to do it."
That's right.
But he's awesome as Job on Arrested Development, and he does a lot of voice work. But he's great in BoJack Horseman.
Amazing in BoJack.
And I just started Smartless, his podcast. I think I just started like 2 days ago.
Oh, really? I love that show. I've listened to every week since it's come out, even for people I don't care about.
Oh, I know. They
It's interesting.
Yeah, because you have to, after a while you start only who's on. I love the podcast, but Mark Maron, who's on? Oh,
right.
I don't really want to listen to that.
And the rapport between him and Jason Bateman and Sean Hayes is pretty great.
Yeah, they've known each other for 20 years. So,
Yep.
So we've got.
Just like the report on our show, George. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly, just like it.
So which one is Will Arnett and which one is Jason Bateman?
That's a great question.
I'm pretty sure I'm the Jason Bateman of the two.
I would say, maybe I'd say Dave would actually be the Jason Bateman.
We don't even count. I'm not even on the register here.
You're one of the special guests we bring
from time to time.
Yeah, you're the guy we bring on every once in a while for.
I'm the Ron Howard of the Arrested Development trio here.
Okay, so you just narrate. Well, so we've got Matt Berry, Will Arnett. I went with Tom Hardy because I thought having him in Venom, we know he can be funny, but I just thought having him, that little tiny kind of grumpy voice, he could do it. I don't know what we're going to put over his mouth because he has to cover his mouth in every movie.
That's true.
The judges decided to give Cary a point as Will Arnett.
Yay! All
supersedes, which I don't understand. Matt Berry is so good, and he's British, but somehow
Matt Berry is the better choice, but they are so wrong.
I just don't know people knew his name.
Well,
that's true.
No, believe me, the people I pick as judges know who Matt Berry is.
Okay.
I don't.
I'm just trying to make myself feel better.
I don't get riffraff off the street. This is Matinee Heroes alumni. These are good quality folks.
I know you've used me before, so
yeah. Well, I was in a pinch. My regular people weren't around.
That's right.
So now we get to the documentary director Marty DeBurgi, played by actual director and legendary meathead Rob Reiner. Cary, who do you have playing the director of this whole rigmarole?
So, Marty, he has some comedic moments, but not a lot. He's very serious. He's the documentarian trying to cover all this kind of stuff. I went with somebody who is definitely very funny, but can play serious at the same time. Put a big beard on him and put him in those documentary, like the director's hat and stuff. I went with Steve Carell.
Oh, absolutely, because he can get that weirdness going, but he's also goofy. I call it goofy integrity because
there you go.
You like it. He's a goofball, but he's so sincere and everything. And of course, The Office, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Anchorman, where he plays Brick. I love Brick. He's my favorite. But Dinner for Schmucks is an underrated comedy, especially the end when he wraps it all up with his little mouse montage of dioramas. It's quite.
And my scene was not people that were in Dinner for Schmucks. I'll say that right now. It's turning out to be that way.
Yeah, well, that's because there's so many funny people in that.
Yeah, it's true.
So, George, who do you have going up against Steve Carell?
This was a tough one because when I originally picked this out, I had someone else in mind, and I changed it once I started filling out the rest of my cast list. And I am really happy with the person I landed on. This person was also in the IT crowd, and I think he plays the subtle comedy the best out of anyone I've ever seen on TV. He also, when he does play serious, it even comes off more goofy. And I picked Richard Ayoade.
Ayoade.
Say it again.
It's Richard Ayoade.
Ayoade. Sorry.
No, there's
I'm
no
a terrible pronouncer. I can't pronounce it, but I know who he is, and he's hilarious, and he's not in enough stuff is the answer.
Yeah. It's Ayoade. There's no D in the front.
Ayoade.
Still got the D in there. That's okay. I don't think he's ever going to get it. He's great in the IT crowd. Have you watched Travel Man on Hulu?
Yes.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, he's
good.
great in that. Just the little 30-minute travel logs with him and guests. He's so, I don't want to say antisocial. He's just so germophobic and antisocial. But he's also in Soul that came out on Disney. Unfortunately, he was in The Watch, that Ben Stiller, Kevin James, Vince Vaughn debacle. But also he is IG-11 in The Mandalorian.
That's right.
So great pick. I love that one. But I am also very susceptible to the IT crowd. So we have Steve Carell, Richard Ayoade. I went with Richard Kind. The Richard Kind. He's always got he's the big heavyset guy. He's in. I mean, he's in everything. He plays in Inside Out. He plays the little animal that's the weird concoction.
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong. Yeah, whatever.
Bing Bong.
Yeah.
He was in Spin City. He was great in that show.
Yes. Well, he's been great in everything. So it's kind of hard because he's not a major lead actor. So when you say, oh, it's Richard Kind, the judges decided Richard Ayoade for the win because you had to. Unlike Matt Berry, You can never go against Richard Iowata. He's great for everything. So George,
apparently George's theme was just the IT crowd.
Yes,
that's not true. It just kind of happened by accident.
Yeah. I'm going to look back and
better
see
choice than Dinner for Schmucks.
Well, that's true. Well, now we get to the manager of the group, Ian Faith, and this is the manager with a hair trigger temper, played by Tony Hendra. So George, he doesn't really show up very much in the trailer, and I don't think he's screaming and yelling like he normally does. So this might come to bite you. Who do you have playing? The manager.
So this one was a little tough. I kind of gathered that he was the manager because I watched a couple of clips, and the clips that I did see, he was like asking someone for a Stonehenge thing, and he got a miniature Stonehenge, and he was really upset about it. So I thought it was funny. Yeah, as you would be, because it was supposed to be for a big giant concert. So I picked somebody who could be like, who I think could make a good slimy manager type, but also could like go off the handle if you needed him to. So I picked Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, absolutely. And we had Goofy Integrity. He is a goofy weasel because he always plays these Weasley guys that are inept in his comedy shows, but he's actually a quite good actor, as we saw in Little Women and The Post. And of course, now he's an action star, which I never thought he would be in Nobody. But
Nobody was great.
Yeah, I heard great things about it. I'm waiting for it to make it to like HBO or one of the streaming services I already pay for, versus paying for the movie itself. But he had a heart issue a little while ago. I'm glad he's recovering quite well. It sounds like that was taken care of, and he's back on his feet, so that's always good. So, Cary, who do you have who's going to usurp Bob Odenkirk?
Oh, okay. This is going to be a hard one, but I was looking for somebody who was a really good improv actor, because that's what he sort of does. He's playing off everybody else in the movie. And one of my favorite improv shows is Whose Line Is It Anyway? I went with Colin Mockery.
Yes. I call him the improv wizardry because everything he does is amazing. Yeah. He's one of the rock solid guys because he's been on both the UK version, the American version, and what I call
all American versions.
And the Drew Carey version is a different one because,
yeah.
But he's the staple because he's not really been in a lot of things where he's an actor. He was in Totally Blonde.
Right.
He was in Jackie Chan's The Tuxedo.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, and he was in Kit Kitteridge and American Girl. And that's pretty much it for movies.
Definitely never saw that one.
Yeah. Are you sure, Cary? Are you sure Kim didn't drag you to that one?
I am.
That's why he picked it.
Yeah.
And maybe why I picked him.
So we've got, for the Bob Odenkirk, Colin Mockery. I went with Greg Davies. If you don't know British comedians, Greg Davies is hilarious. He was in the River Song Peter Capaldi Christmas episode as the guy with his head was removed and he just kept on building bodies. He's also a great comedian. And
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and what I can only call an upset, Colin Mockery over the superstar that is Bob Odenkirk. So again, my people know who these obscure folks are. So don't ever doubt them again.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Though I totally
good
agree
job,
with it.
Cary. That was a good one.
Yeah, I totally agree with that pick because Colin Mockery is awesome. Well, now we get to the Yoko of this band, Janine Pettibone.
Yep.
Played by June Chadwick. So, Cary, who do you have who is going to disrupt and pretty much destroy the band?
Continuing on with my theme of amazing improv actors and actresses, there's only one name that came to mind, and Kristen Wiig.
Well, of course. Yes, she's got I guess the Answer the Call or something like that. They keep changing the name.
The one George loves.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
I've never seen it, so I can't say that I love that.
And she's not only in the movie MacGruber, but I hear she's going to be in the TV show that's coming out, MacGruber.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for not putting Wonder Woman in 1984 on there.
No. And no, because she's playing the Target lady for most of it. Her character from the Saturday Night Live. So she's so much better than that. All right, George. Who do you have to beat the great comedian Kristen Wiig?
So this one was really tough since there's not a lot of her in any of the clips or any of the trailers that I watched. So
That's what you get for not watching it.
Well, there was nowhere to rent this movie digitally. They only wanted to buy it, and I'm not going to buy a movie for $20. So
I'm so sorry about that. I try not. And you know what? I need to stop picking really older movies because they're hard to find good quality HD photos to add to the show.
Yeah. He just wants to make his life easier. I see how it is too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the DVD, and I'm not going to go look for it.
I don't blame you.
So
again, I apologize. I didn't realize that was not available. So who do you have?
It's okay. It's no big deal. I picked with an actress who I'm not sure if she's British or not, but she definitely has an accent. But I really like her in this movie called Art of Self-Defense. She can be really funny, but she was also in Green Room, so she can really kick ass. And I kind of summated that this girl kind of like runs the main guitarist and main singer's life and kind of ruins the band's vibe. It's what I kind of gathered from reading the description of the character.
Yeah, she's Yoko.
And so I wanted to pick a character who was younger than the main character, but not too young to where, it was weird. So I picked this actress named I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. Imogen Poots.
You'd like to say your last name.
Yeah, Imogen Poots, otherwise known as I'm Farting, is what her real name should be. Imogen Poots. So, yes, she's known for some upscale
But I really like her. She's a great actress. Yeah.
Because she's kind of been in some upscale horror movies like 28 Weeks Later and Fright Night with David Tennant from earlier, and The Green Room.
Oh, that scary movie, Need for Speed.
Yeah, well, she hasn't been in a lot. I mean, this is everything I could find on her. The Green Room is, I would call that a horror movie because it's about neo-Nazis and it's pretty scary.
Absolutely.
But it's under
Art
the
of Self-Defense is not on there, and that's really good.
So, well, we've got Kristen Wiig. We've got Imogen Poots. I'm sure she does. I bet they smell like a freshly baked biscuit. I went with Catherine Hahn because you want improv. You want someone who can handle it.
Very true.
Our judges conferred and said, you know what? We're going to tie this baby up. And we go into the end as Cary gets the point with Kristen Wiig.
Good job.
So, now this is our last character is a wild card. We've never done this before. And this is Elvis's grave, but I wanted to symbolize all the drummers that have died. So what I wanted you to do is pick out a drummer for the group who will inevitably die in some horrible way. So this was a true wild card. We've never had this before where you're replacing nobody. You are coming up with a character because you can literally just decide who you want. So we are going to start with George as we get to the tiebreaker. George, who do you have playing one of the drummers? We're just a drummer for the band.
So this one threw me for a loop because I had no idea that you never seen the drummer in the movie.
You do. You see several of them. The problem is they don't last very long.
They all somehow die mysteriously.
Yeah.
Or explode on stage.
It's a running gag, so I thought that you would get that.
I picked someone that worked well with the cast that I already picked because he's been in stuff with them before, and he's an improv comic himself, Noel Fielding. He's also in the Great British Bake Off. So
that's what I call him. He's the goth baking. He's known for goth baking. He was in the IT crowd, which everybody except Taika Waititi you picked. So you just went with the IT crowd. So I'm glad you watched two shows.
Yeah.
You watched Spinal Tap clips, and then you watched the IT crowd afterwards. You went, hey, that'll be good.
I think you watched the Great British Bake Off.
It happened by accident. I swear to you. We'll talk more about it on the afterwards. But the IT crowd thing happened afterwards. I didn't notice it until you messaged it to me.
Yeah, because once he said it in, I'm like, ooh, it's a great IT crowd vibe. And he's like, oh, I didn't. Oh, so yeah, Noel's. He's kind of odd looking. I kind of like him a little bit. He gets on my nerves after about 5 minutes. He's very much a small dose person for me, but some people just absolutely love him. So I'm just saying my personal preference. So Cary, who do you have playing the drummer?
So I was stuck on a couple different people. I was trying to pull my favorite fictional drummers from rock-based movies. First one I picked was Shades from That Thing You Do, Tom Everett Scott. But ultimately, I went with Pip because he likes to farting on a snare drum. Adam Sandler from Airheads.
And that's the picture
Good
I found.
one.
Yep. Adam Sandler, known for dumb movies. But hey, he makes $100 million every couple months. So
he does.
But they are dumb movies, and I'm not going to apologize for I don't like them. But Airheads.
Oh, I love them. I feel smarter just for watching them.
The Netflix ones or the real old school ones?
All of them.
Okay.
Everything.
I
Don't hate me.
I don't hate you. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Okay, I can live with that.
That's worse.
The Happy Gilmore, The Wedding Singer, The Water Boys. The best worst movie of like last year, Uncut Gems, was a movie that it's a good movie. It's just so stressful and annoying. But it's a quality movie.
Yeah.
But you only watch it once. Well, here we go. We've got a tie game here. So, George went with Noel Fielding. Cary went with Adam Sandler. Now, of the two, I do not like Adam Sandler.
Since it's a drummer thing, since it's the drummer thing, can we get a drum roll?
Not yet. Don't try to produce my show. Produce your own show.
Okay, sorry.
Because
Because
we're not ready for drum roll yet. So, Adam Sandler, not a person I like. So the odds of me picking him are slim. Noel Fielding, not a person I am in love with. So my odds of picking him are slim because I really hate pick this one. And there's one actor, and if you listen to the podcast, there's one actor you know I can't stand, even when he's the good guy. And he did play a drummer one time. Miles Teller is my drummer, and because I hate him, and I hope he dies. No, I don't hope he dies, but
Wow.
I wouldn't be upset if he died on film. He's the reason I'm not really looking forward to Top Gun Maverick, because he's in that.
You loved him in Fantastic Four, didn't you?
I didn't even like him in Whiplash, and I love Whiplash. I was rooting for J.K. Simmons the entire time. It was really weird. I felt weird coming out of that movie. So now we know it's official. This will not be a tie game. There is no way to tie this game because 3 judges, there's no way. So is it going to be Noel Fielding?
I'm nervous now.
Is it going to be Adam Sandler? We've got someone that most people don't know in Noel Fielding, and of course, one of the biggest stars in the world, Adam Sandler. We'll find out right after this. That's right. Cast Off. We need subscribers over at our YouTube channel. Since we last put out the call, we've gone up by 7. So I appreciate that. We went from 59 to 66, but we are still 34 away from getting a custom URL so we can disperse this throughout the world. So if you like the show, please head over to YouTube, Google Matinee Heroes, or you can head over to Castoff, matineeheroes.com/castoff. There's a link to the YouTube channel. Subscribe, and once we get 100, I can start saying go to youtube.com/castoff or /matineeheroes. We haven't decided yet. So please do that. And if you're subscribing, please go to your local podcatcher, whatever it is. Is it Spotify? Is it Apple? Is it, I don't even know half the other ones. Google Play. Leave a review. We'd certainly appreciate it. We don't do this for money. We do this because we need attention. And so Alan and I would really love something that would tell us that you think we're doing a good job. So we really appreciate it. So let's go back to see who's going to win this thing. Is it going to be an all-British cast, except for Bob Odenkirk, of George, or an almost all-American cast, except for Colin Mockery, who's Canadian? Oh, Will Arnett's Canadian, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the judges, it took them a long time to figure this one out, because I'm not sure how they were if they were happy or not with their choices. But they decided to go for probably the most popular metal geek on the show. George wins with Noel Fielding.
Oh my God.
So
I'm never going to let him live this down now.
Thank you, George, for being part of the show for so many years. We appreciate it. So we'll see you later.
George, you are today's winner. Congratulations and well done.
It feels good to win.
You have
thank you.
Well, you didn't win last time, and I think you felt like it was a personal slight, and it wasn't. But you earned this one, and so you get today's final thought. You can say whatever you want. You can pimp the show. You can
do whatever I want.
You can take a shout out. Just one thing that you want to tell the world.
I want to tell the world that Cary is awesome. I love him to death, and it was fun playing against him. And I want to thank you, Craig, for letting us be on the show and have some fun. And thank you for picking a movie I've never seen before. And, it's good to win something based on a guest.
I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah. Well, you are the
parents.
You are the Randy Redacted of Metal Geeks, because Randy has won several of these in a row where he didn't watch anything but the trailer.
Maybe that's the new way to do it.
Yeah. It might be the new way to do it. Please, if you enjoyed us on this show or enjoyed me ranting and raving about my picks, you'll hear a lot more of that on Metal Geeks. And thank you again for the judges for siding with the best choice.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, and that just leads us to next week. We've got a great show as we get ready to talk about FanX, as we bring on the director of programming, the great Blake Castleman, who's going to join us for a preview as he goes up against the Cast-Off's favorite and FanX Cast-Off Life participant, Tracy Mangum, as we recast the classic movie or television show, MASH, because we have both Klinger and Hot Lips Houlihan coming to FanX in September among a huge array of people. So join us next week for that. Want to be on the show? It's really simple. You'd be surprised how easy it is. Head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff/application. Fill out the application, and you too can be on the show. We don't really have a huge vetting process, usually a pulse and a video camera. And even then, you can see by George's, you don't really need to have one. You can just have something on a webcam or a laptop. But head over there, or you can email mhcastoff@gmail.com. All I'll do is send you the link to the application. But, of course, you can always drop us a note that says, hello, we're doing good, we like the show, fan mail, we appreciate it. You can follow us on Twitter at The Castoff Show. We have the Facebook group for Matinee Heroes. Head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff, where you can find the links to both YouTube and Twitch, or head over to Twitch TV/Matinee Heroes. We just got a viewer subscribe today as we watch this, so that's great. I appreciate that. And special thanks to our additional judges, Rob Irvin, who is fantastic and is going to be on the show in the quite near future, because he's always doing well over at the Cheap Popcast and the Clubhouse Podcast. And of course, Brendan Agnew, who is he and Elizabeth Rapp are our go-to substitutes when Alan is not available. You'll hear him in October when we do Matinee Villains Month and talk Scream. So, on behalf of Cary Gordon and our winner, yes, that's right, you are a winner, sir. We've got, that is George Tripsas. This is Craig Price. We'll see you on the next Cast Off.